Sometimes having too many golf lessons can have negative consequences. You can just be trying to incorporate so many different things in your swing. You're trying to match up certain checkpoints. All of this just leads to overthinking and a more robotic swing, and you will be hitting the best shots when you feel more athletic. In this lesson, you will see that I'm hitting a lot of bad shots, and it's also just bringing down my confidence. But as you will see at the end of this lesson, I'm able to just focus on the right thing, the right swing thought, and I'm able to make a lot better contact. And also, I learn a new movement pattern that will help me hit the ball straighter and avoid all of those nasty shanks. And guys, if you're new here, my name is Chonger. I'm an average golfer with the goal of trying to get to scratch. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Follow along on this journey with me as I document my weekly lessons, talk about different gear and gadgets that help me improve, and so much more. So hopefully see you guys along on the journey with me. And with that being said, let's roll into this lesson.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about is because I know when we initially first started working on our irons and stuff, one thing that we did talk about was making sure my hands don't get too far back.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, I've maybe gotten a little bit too just in front, just raise my hands and kind of just it doesn't look like I'm taking a backswing. And that was, I guess, one of your comments that you made when I was doing the driver.
Yeah.
But now that we've also been trying to work more on a draw shape, I found I just haven't been able to do that unless I kind of take a bit more of a turn. But I want to make sure I'm not overdoing it.
It makes sense that you'd have to sort of get the club a little bit more behind to get it to the inside to be able to swing it up and away from you. That seems like a good sort of reactive pattern to sort of build around. Are we just going over TrackMan? Is that kind of the goal? Okay.
That's what I was, if it's all set up for that.
Yeah.
Because I've been really just thinking more of starting the turn with my hip so I can focus on getting a deeper turn.
Sure. So with that then, try not to let your hands follow your hip line. So when my hips turn like that, when they turn in the backswing, they're turning pretty flat. And if my hands just follow my hips, they end up just taking my shoulder. I just turn my whole trunk rotates over the hip. So what we kind of want is a little bit of expansion out of the right side. So when my hip goes back, what it's doing is giving me an avenue for my hands to go up.
Okay.
So there should be a little separation, so it's not just everything circling around your hip turn. We kind of create a little vertical. It's like you make an avenue, right? It's like I give a window for where my hands can kind of work up in the backswing. And then now as I unwind, it kind of makes sense in that order that you did hips first, then the hands kind of went up, then the hips would come down, then the hands would drop into their kind of slot, right? Yeah. Nice. You haven't hit any golf balls yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Zero. So when you start out, it's, I don't know, sometimes it can kind of work, but you're probably not at full capacity yet. It would be like expecting to if you're a marathon runner, expecting to hit your stride right out of the gates. It's just not going to happen. We need a little bit of warm up.
Yeah,
I would say hit sand wedges first. That's what I would say, just zero structure to the way that you do things. So the early part of it is just for you to warm up.
Yeah.
So take that, and it doesn't matter how you stand. It doesn't matter how you swing, if it's handsy, if it's loose, if it's inside, if it's outside. The only thing that matters is that you're making the contact that you're anticipating. Okay. So you're just trying to put the center on the ball, kind of relax. We're not taking huge pelts. You're just sort of barely skimming the surface here, but you're just making good contact. Even before that, we were on grass, and you're trying to I think you know what your divots should look like.
Yeah.
Take an area and just work it until you get kind of the divots that you want for a little shots. This is not a lot. This is not a long shot. I'm going to jump in for a second. I'm going to take your wedge, and I'm going to show you how I warm up first.
Okay.
So you're kind of firing almost on all cylinders there, where you're trying to connect leg movement, follow through, and it kind of is like a mini version of a full swing.
Yep.
When I first start hitting shots, it's like my feet are dead. They're just on the ground. And what I want to feel like is, can I just find the ball at the bottom of the circle?
Yeah.
Right? If I can strip away a lot here and just go, okay, I just want to be able to do this. Can I just brush the grass the way that I want? And like, I can pick up tempo and flick that grass, but I'm not digging in like crazy. And I'm also just hitting the same spot over and over again. Then when I get to the golf ball, those feet just chill and I'm just getting like okay contact on the golf ball.
Yeah.
That's it. I just really simplify it. It's not a full motion. I think what we talked about last time was kind of like with your driver, the unbalanced image of like this short backswing and this monster follow through that was kind of like helping the ball. And I would rather it the opposite, to feel like it's a big wind up and then the speed really sort of is done by the time it gets through the golf ball. So we don't have to kind of lift the ball off of the ground. We're just like smacking the back of this thing. So feet are really calm in the ground. We don't need a big follow through. We just need a nice little smooth wind up. Eyes stay over the ball. This is better. Still a little like sticky in the turf, like going into the ground too long, not able to sort of like get up out of there. This is just posture loss. And if these divots are perfect and this is too deep,
Yeah.
we're talking like an inch deeper. But an inch in the ground is significant because we're going through a lot of material. And an inch up here is like almost not noticeable. Like a little bit of compression, a little like hips going forward, and all of a sudden I'm closer to the ground and then I have to like shovel my arms out of the way. So these should feel like you're really relieving a lot of that in the follow through. We're kind of coming up into the finish of this thing. We're not stomping down on this and staying on that lead side as much.
I think when I haven't been hitting it the best,
Yeah.
I know that the only way I can get some good contact is if I'm really trying to hit down.
Hit
But then
down.
sometimes I think I overdo
Too much,
it,
yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
it can get like
Yeah, for sure. Right? I think you know what like a good divot looks like with a wedge. It's probably not like a huge thing, but like, is that what you want for the golf ball? Like this looks like it's a little in the toe, and it looks like the toe is like, or the club is closing on the golf ball. So what you want is to try to get the toe and the heel to enter the ground and exit the ground in like a little kind of like, almost like a little bit of scoop, like a little removal. So the face is square earlier before it gets to the golf ball, more on top of the line, and when it exits, it stays square a little bit longer. So it doesn't have like a rolling quality out of your hands. So it just kind of works up and down a little bit more vertically. Okay.
that one. I just thought don't hit the ground.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, that's where like, when you're just warming up, this is the things you can kind of calibrate. And then we'll put that 8-iron back in your hands and we'll hit some. Okay. Super smooth. Move really smooth in the backswing. That was good. And that's kind of where you're aiming, right? Like, you like to aim right.
Yeah.
You like to then kind of push it a little bit more to the right, so you'd see a golf ball kind of up in that space. With your wedges, you just want to try really hard to like work up the middle of this hallway. Then we're not like going down the edge of that side. We're really kind of just working right up and down this. We're kicking field goals right through the middle of the posts. Yeah, right. Super chill going back. Sounded good. Can you get a couple of these to start on the left side of that post? So not a push, maybe a pull, maybe just a little face reassignment, but just trying to get that thing to start over the left corner of TrackMan. Nice. Nice. So like, after that shot, I would say grab your 8-iron. Because now we're probably into like, you don't have to think about that you're stiff and that you're still warming up and you got 5 more swings before you're loose and ready to go. You're probably there now. Let's keep the same tempo and rhythm and really buy into the fact that the tool is going to produce the distance for us. Okay, so same idea over the left corner of TrackMan and just nice, easy tempo.
Okay, I want to hit it left of TrackMan?
Yeah,
Okay.
just over the left corner of TrackMan. Just hanging it on that left edge. Okay, that golf ball went pretty far left.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to watch this guy. I'm standing on your heel line. Okay, you're kind of aimed pretty decent, maybe on the left side of TrackMan, what I've asked you to do. But I want you to watch where this swing goes. Like, it looks like you're intentionally hitting it over there, right?
Yeah.
Or like pulling it way left of the target. So I think that's a good indication that you're really locked into your mechanics. Like, there's a real clear target out there, and if you really believe that you can release this club up over that target, that the ball will also go in that direction, then you become a little bit more connected to where you actually want the ball to go. This swing looks like a guy who lost the narrative of the shot and was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do a swing here. I'm gonna move my body like this. I'm gonna put my hands like this, and then let's see where the ball goes. That's kind of a backwards way of finding a golf shot. I want you to make the shot like it's there. You've seen it, you know where you want it to do, and you just now have a tool in your hand that's gonna help you toss it up the line. So that club should exit right up that target line. It's going pretty far left. And then, so there's two shots that went left. They were really solidly hit. Those are pulls. I don't even have to have TrackMan here to know that that divot in that direction is going pretty far left. Yes, we want you to probably hit a little bit of a draw, so maybe we'll switch gears and sort of go, okay, let's start this on the right side of TrackMan and hit a little bit of a baby draw just to sort of get that back, see if you can kind of pull that off. But a lot of this is how you start your downswing, and that's the conversation we're going to have, especially when we get to driver, how you utilize kind of the ground a little bit differently. Yeah, okay. Okay. Can I borrow your club for a second?
Yeah.
So the other shots that you hit, the couple that you hit in the beginning, and that's why I said, hey, let's go grab a wedge and let's start here. You hit a few shots that were like really low shanks, like face whipping across the golf ball. When you get to the top of your backswing, wherever you get to, your initial reaction is to start pushing in a circle this way.
Yeah.
So I push first. When I push, I basically reassign where this circle is going to start to go. When I push first and it gets my club working out and away from me, or in a position where it has to now come down, I've almost put the ball in a spot where it's like, the more I go like this, the further it's behind me. That's those like really low shanks that are going out to the right. But then when you hit it solid, you have to close the face to send it over there. So what we want instead is, when you make your turn, you want to feel like your center, your seam, stays behind the golf ball. To do that, I've got to keep this on the ground a little bit longer. I work like this, not like this. So if I push and spin, it's going that way. If I can hang out here and just have a little quieter foot action, meaning like I'm just like flat-footed on the ground, then I should be able to get the club back to the golf ball and then have this sort of like push sensation that happens. If I chill and relax and just go at the right side of TrackMan, I'm just gonna keep my feet really quiet in the ground. Then it's a little bit easier for me to let the club kind of release away from me rather than you kind of keep pulling it. So I want you to feel like your feet stay on the ground through the hit, that we're not like quickly spinning the turn.
Okay.
That's gonna be a huge one for the driver because it feels like a powerful move into the downswing to go like this.
Yeah.
But what it does is it just puts us in a spot where we can't really escape from it, where you're just gonna be on top of that plane, that hand path is gonna be outside, and then you're just kind of stuck there. So I want you to really feel like we're not letting that right foot come off the ground, that it's just chilling back there, that that hip isn't spinning so hard. It feels like your legs kind of turn off. And then we get to use that kind of wind up. So we're really like turning the corner and then chilling a bit more. Yeah, I want you to even just leave your hips a bit more behind the golf ball.
Okay.
So if there's like a laser pointer off of your belt buckle, it would go like this, bzzz, and then as we come back into the golf ball, you'd really fight the urge for it to go like this really quickly through the ball. You'd feel like it just stays back there. Like the belt right now is pointed here, and we want it over there. And when you swing into the downswing, it feels like it's still there. Right. Yeah. So when you come back into this golf ball, I want you to just keep that laser pointing over here. Right. Just let your arms do it.
Okay.
Let your hands do it. When I do this, what you just did was you got to the golf ball and you pulled your hands across this way. You really narrowed that angle and it pulled it down into the ground.
Yeah.
If I leave my laser pointer behind, my arms would go this way. They would go up off of my body away from me. They would be close to me in the backswing, and then they would climb up and away in the follow through. We need your hands to exit way higher in the follow through. They should feel like they're exiting over your left shoulder, not under your rib cage. Right. So make a few full practice swings, full speed, where that club really exits high in the follow through. Great. Great. So nice smooth tempo in the backswing, and then you can accelerate up. Great. Nice. Okay. So we had the same thing on the golf ball. I want that club head to go to the ceiling in the follow through. It's much closer. Much, much closer. Let's just say you've done a really, really good job of kind of incorporating your lower body turn as a source of power for you, but it can't be the first one in the downswing and transition. If the first thing that happens is torque is spinning you, then we've lost the slot. We just have nowhere to come back into the golf ball. The only option is to leave the face open and hit a slice.
Yeah.
And that is okay if that's where you're gonna do every single time, but we know how that feels and we know what that shot looks like and we know how short it goes. It's probably not what we want. So let's just spin less.
So my first move on the downswing should be my arms?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And again, like I go like throwing motion, right? That idea of like taking a ball, winding it up in my backswing, and then as I go, what I'm trying to do is I'm not spinning my hips around and then bringing the ball this way. What I'm doing is I'm putting my hip in the ground, I'm standing up, and I'm letting my arm come across my body and release. Right? That braking mechanism, the feet stopping, is what's sending the club through that hitting zone. If you keep spinning, there's no stop. You are twisting. Nobody twists fast enough for that. Right. And the more that we do it, the higher we're going to get that golf ball to go in the air.
It really feels like I'm just doing an arm swing.
Yeah, right. But maybe the obvious thing is that sometimes it doesn't look like that, right? It might feel like it's really armsy, but let's just say that before it wasn't armsy for you, it was like really body driven. So let's let those hands climb up in the follow through. Right, nice turn. Yeah, why not? Right? Why not? If we get that out of it and we get here's where you started, you're like in the ground.
Yeah.
And now we're removing a little less turf for sure. But for what it feels like, you're still rotating, right? You're still incorporating the body, but now your hands have somewhere to fall into to kind of help you go. Now, could you add a little bit more of your legs? For sure. So you could create a little bit more of a divot. But I mean, this is my idea with pretty much everything when we're learning something. It's like, why would we tiptoe into it and say, hey, do it a little bit less? Because it's really hard to check that. So what we do is go, don't move your legs at all. Okay, now you feel that? Great. Now incorporate that into the whole movement so it becomes a little bit more natural, but we're not overspinning and we're not leaving our feet in the ground so that we don't do anything. But there's just a nice little mix of this thing. So we wind up and we're way more passive in that spin.
That one, when I didn't necessarily make too much of a divot,
Yeah.
am I still actually hitting down?
Yes.
Or is it?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It's just less,
Okay.
right? It's just a little bit less. Now, you want to do this with an arrangement that feels like it's coming from more weight on the lead side, right? At the very beginning, and definitely by the time you get to the golf ball. But we want those hands going up in the exit. We do not want you to pull this thing low and across. That's right, yeah.
Okay. Feels like my hands are going more towards the target line instead of
across the body. Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe a little freedom to kind of get the spin in there a bit more. Didn't quite land it on the golf ball the way you wanted, but also every one of these shots now that you've kind of turned the legs off are leaving on line, and then we're just dealing with, where the depth on the face. So we just want to get a little bit deeper or higher up onto the face with these hits. This one was a little bit across.
I swung across my body.
Mm-hmm. Good. So 90% of your weight on your left foot to start, and feel like you don't really come off of it. It naturally will, but feel like most of it just stays there. And we're still swinging up, right? Right.
That one I felt my weight shift back a little bit.
Yes. Okay, 3 or 4 golf balls in a row that are pretty thin. Just work the ground again. Just start to figure out how you want and where you want this thing to land. So you've got a golf ball sitting in front of you. That's a good measure of where you'd like to land your club. So we want to see interaction with the grass that happens beyond this point. This would be your first point of contact, but your first touch point with the ground with an 8-iron is probably, we'll start to see a little bit of this grass kind of move, and then we'll see the entry kind of 2 inches before the golf ball, and then some depth that sort of happens in that space in like a little bit of a square. So you're trying to remove something beyond the golf ball, not crazy beyond, but there's a definite area that you're trying to land this thing. If you're landing it too soon, like you're touching the ground too soon, for you, that can also be a thin shot, right? Like down and then back up.
Yep.
If you land it too soon and continue down, this is just a fat one. Neither one are great. So we really want to make sure that you're controlling, for your iron play, maybe more important than anything else, is how consistent you can get that club to land on the point that you're after. Not just the point ahead of the golf ball, but also left and right relative to the ball, right? So we really have to land this center of the club on the ball before we get to the divot. Go practice swings beside that golf ball and make like 3 or 4 of them where you remove the grass the way that you want, like in a row. Okay. So then the next divot has to peel right over top of that one. If we're a consistent ball striker, it's got to be the same. So it was a little bit later, stretch out the divot. It was probably 2 or 3 inches past where the first one landed. So we're looking right on that spot right there. Okay, and that landed like 2 or 3 inches behind. That's a pretty good little microcosm of like your ability to get this thing in that window. None of this is terrible, but it's enough that one was thin, one was fat, and one was probably okay.
Yeah.
Go full Goldilocks experience. So you can do a lot of work away from a driving range. Like I tell a lot of people, there's a mat you can buy off of Amazon, that kind of like the colorway mat that you can kind of swing and hit into it. But really, if you could just go outside, find a piece of grass that you're allowed to hit, allowed to swing a golf club on, and you just bottom out. Like really what we're trying to do here is the ball's in the way, but the ball's on a piece of ground, and we're just trying to remove the ground kind of after the golf ball. So if we could do it away from a golf ball, then it makes sense that we could probably do it a little bit easier with a golf ball. If every golf ball that we hit is a different story, I'd want to train more like away from it. Like if each golf ball really carried the value that it should, like, okay, I'm going to hit this golf ball, and if it doesn't work out, then, I lose a leg. You're going to be like, well, I better make some practice swings. Hold on. Let me make 10 practice swings and just see. Okay, let me make 10 more. Okay, maybe I'm ready. Okay, let me train for a week before I do this. But we just go ball, ball, ball. And I don't want you to discount any of the bad ones or the good ones. I want us to try to get them consistent, that landing spot is the same or pretty close to it every time. Let's do like a few more practice swings. Let's hit a couple more 8-irons. But I also want you to just let it loose. I think this is one of those things that I was talking to you about, is your technique, where you're getting the club to travel around you, is starting to look a lot better. You've started to have a good handle on where you want it to go. What we want is just to have some fluidity or some freedom for this thing really to kind of flow. So it's like the last thing that you think about before you hit a golf ball is just the shot. It's just like, where is it going? How high can I hit it? How solid can I hit it? How can I want to spin it a little bit, whatever. Just, you can be super creative with the shot you want to create, but don't get too locked into the mechanics. Good. How do you feel about those ones?
Last time I felt was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so too. It even sounded okay in the turf.
The other ones I think would have been a bit thin.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Okay, so keep it really easy. Really easy. Let's get that contact really good. Your eyes need to stay right there. Yeah, right there. That's it. So you just lock in on that. You are hitting that spot. Great. That was a good swing.
yeah.
Okay. Eyes just got to stay right there. Just lock in. Hit the golf ball on this next one. Okay. Check out your target, where you want it to go. I think we want to hit it high. I think we want to probably not hit a slice. Let's hit a draw. So aim a little right of your target. You're aiming left just based on where your feet are. Yeah, I think reset. Aim a little right of target. Nice. Yeah, good setup there. So the obvious one is, if you look back at that last swing, it would look like you just leave the shot too soon. Everything is like already gone or gone at the same time, and it should feel like I'm just there for that moment. What happens after will pull you into that space. I don't think you need to like go there. Just be on the ball, right? Like imagine like you have to just watch that ball leave. Yeah. Yeah. Like almost hit the pole. Awesome. It's not just you, right? Like every conversation that we have about your golf swing gives you something else to think about in a sequence of movement patterns. But the athletic portion of this, or like the gamesmanship of golf, is like, hey, how good can you actually hit the golf ball? That's a focus thing, right? Yep. That's you just making sure that you put it on the golf ball. Like nothing else matters. This is just you watching that shot. There's 2 pretty good strikes in a row. And I think we finally found something to just sort of like lock you in there. And it just took you kind of like spinning out a couple times early, trying to help the ball in the air. And it really is just as obvious as like, that's all I care about. Nothing moves until that moment happens. After that, I'm free. But
I think that's one thing I guess you touched on, is because obviously with a lot of different shots, we've been working a lot of things, and I think I overthink a lot of things.
Of course. But it's like, there's no way that I could tell you to just be like, hey, Graham, don't think about anything. Okay, don't think about anything? Well, what if I think about not thinking about anything? And then you just like, it's like, no, it's not a chance. Our brain works, and we've had this conversation, I think, before, like spotlight focus.
Yeah.
If I can get myself to just focus on one thing, especially, and maybe it'll sound like sexist or whatever, but especially men, I think for the most part, we can do one thing at a time really well, and then you add 2 or 3 things and it just becomes jumbled. Women may be a different story. They can compartmentalize stuff as a whole. But like most guys that I run into, if I tell them 2 things, they're thinking about one really hard, and then the second one just messes them up. So we want to think about one thing, which is like, okay, all these things lead to this moment of you being able to hit the golf ball. That's the focus point, is you watching this moment of impact happen. Let's hit one more 8-iron, and then let's start to hit some drivers.
Yeah.
Let's hit one more.
Yeah.
I think you came out of there just a touch early.
A little thin.
I know you're gonna make mistakes. I make mistakes too. I hit substandard golf shots, 5 out of 10s on the golf course. But because of the pattern, I don't really get punished too much with my irons, maybe a little bit with the driver. But what we're really trying to see is just your ability to like focus on the strike. Just get that part really clean. Just a little thin.
Yeah.
Just a touch thin.
At least my shots are more straight though,
So
right?
straight.
I think that's one of the things I've struggled with is
Yeah.
the left, because I want to try to get more down, and I think I just
Yeah.
take everything too much over the top.
Yeah.
It kind of
Yes.
just went to too much of that extreme.
If we can just buy into the idea that if I swing this club head way closer to the vertical axis than the horizontal one, then I don't have to manipulate the face nearly as much. And it's really likely then that the golf ball is going to start closer to this like vertical spit out, right? Like a, like a pitching machine fires balls, like it's just a wheel going like this. The ball always goes straight.
Yeah.
If I tip the machine this way, now we're like, pew, it starts to just do this. And that's really what happens is if we start tipping this wheel sideways and the club starts coming around, or I'm spinning around to bring it there, all sorts of things can happen by the time I get to the golf ball coming around this thing and having to re-square the face. So if we can get this feeling like the club swing's way more vertical with everything, it just quiets the noise of this like overactive flippiness of the club face, for sure. So we're working way more vertically. We're not spinning nearly as much. We're kind of being a bit more passive, and you're really locked in on the golf ball. That's pretty good, right? Like it's not perfect contact, but you could probably talk to that ball still.
Yeah.
You could probably say things like, sit, catch a corner. When you hook one like 30 yards left, it's silence. It's just dead silence. You can't say anything. Let's go there and hit driver. Let's go inside. We'll move back.
So that'll conclude this lesson, and as if you would have seen in this particular session, I just wasn't hitting the ball that great to begin with. That is partly due to just me not having as much time as I would have liked to practice. So I just haven't had a lot of time to work through all of these swing changes, and it doesn't really come second nature to me. I'm still trying to think about where I need to put the club, how I'm turning, and trying to incorporate all of these different things, and that's why my swing is a bit robotic. However, fortunately, I was able to turn it around at the end of this session, and that's just part of this journey. I want to document the good and the bad. I want to show that, you could be having a bad swing day, but you can work through things, and you'll be able to see me work through it live in this particular lesson. So I hope that you guys found this insightful. If you're also having a bad day, whether it be at the range or on the course, then hopefully you can just learn to just recenter your focus in on the right things, and hopefully that will help turn things around for you. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.